Welcome back to Albums Born Today, where we delve into the history behind albums celebrating their release. It's March 17th, 2024. Let's explore what the past has in store for us today. The Grateful Dead's debut album, self-titled as The Grateful Dead, was released in 1967. The Grateful Dead had its origins in the San Francisco Bay Area's burgeoning counterculture scene of the mid-1960s. The band formed in 1965 when Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, Ron Pigpen, McKernan, Phil Lesh, and Bill Kreutzmann came together. Before releasing their debut album, the Grateful Dead had already developed a strong reputation through their live performances, which often featured extended improvisations and a blend of rock, folk, blues, and psychedelic influences. The Grateful Dead signed with Warner Brothers Records and began recording their debut album in 1967. The band worked with producer Dave Hassinger on the album's production. The album was recorded at various studios, including RCA Studio A in Los Angeles and Sunset Sound Recorders. The Grateful Dead's debut album showcased their eclectic musical style, incorporating elements of folk, blues, country, and psychedelic rock. The album features original compositions like The Golden Road to Unlimited Devotion, Viola Lee Blues, and Cold Rain and Snow, as well as cover songs like Morning Dew and Beat It On Down the Line. Over time, The Grateful Dead has become regarded as a classic album and an important artifact of the 1960s counterculture movement. The album's influence can be felt in the subsequent development of psychedelic and jam band music. Desolation Angels is the fifth studio album by British rock band Bad Company, released in 1979. Bad Company had achieved significant success with their first four albums, which included hit singles like Can't Get Enough and Feel Like Making Love. Desolation Angels came after a string of successful releases and further solidified the band's reputation as one of the leading rock acts of the 1970s. The album was recorded in 1978 at Ridge Farm Studio in Surrey, England. Bad Company worked with producer Paul Rogers, who was also the band's lead vocalist and primary songwriter. The recording sessions were characterized by a relaxed and collaborative atmosphere, allowing the band members to experiment with their sound. Desolation Angels features Bad Company's trademark blend of blues-infused rock and hard rock. The album showcases the band's dynamic musical abilities with powerful guitar riffs, soulful vocals, and tight rhythms. The album consists of 9 tracks, including the singles Rock and Roll Fantasy and Gone, Gone, Gone. These songs became radio staples and received significant airplay upon the album's release. Other standout tracks include Crazy Circles and the title track Desolation Angels. The album's title, Desolation Angels, evokes a sense of loneliness and isolation, which is reflected in some of the album's lyrical themes. Many of the songs explore themes of longing, redemption, and the struggles of life on the road. Desolation Angels was a commercial success, reaching number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart in the United States and receiving platinum certification. The album's singles performed well on the charts, with Rock and Roll Fantasy reaching the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. Black Celebration is the fifth studio album by English electronic music band Depeche Mode, released in 1986. Black Celebration marked a transition for Depeche Mode towards a darker and more mature sound compared to their earlier albums. The band members, particularly songwriter Martin Gore, were exploring deeper themes and experimenting with more complex musical arrangements. Martin Gore took on a larger role as the primary songwriter for Black Celebration. The album features introspective and sometimes melancholic lyrics that delve into themes of alienation, isolation, and existential despair. Gore's songwriting was heavily influenced by personal experiences and observations of the world around him. The album was recorded at Westside Studios in London and Hansa-Ton Studio in Berlin. Depeche Mode worked with producer Gareth Jones, who had previously collaborated with the band on their album Construction Time Again. The album's artwork, designed by Martin Atkins, features a minimalist black and white aesthetic with stark imagery. The cover art, which depicts a distorted, shadowy figure, reflects the album's themes of darkness and introspection. Black Celebration features 10 tracks, including singles like Stripped, A Question of Time, and the title track Black Celebration. These songs showcase Depeche Mode's evolving sound, with a greater emphasis on atmospheric synthesizers, intricate rhythms, and haunting melodies. Black Celebration received positive reviews from critics upon its release. The album was praised for its atmospheric production, introspective lyrics, and the band's ability to create a cohesive and immersive listening experience. It was seen as a significant artistic progression for Depeche Mode. While Black Celebration may not have achieved the same level of commercial success as some of Depeche Mode's later albums, it performed well on the charts and helped solidify the band's reputation as pioneers of electronic music. The album reached the top 10 in several countries, including the UK and Germany. Made in England is the 21st studio album by British singer-songwriter Elton John, released in 1995. As with many of Elton John's albums, Made in England features lyrics written by his longtime collaborator Bernie Taupin. The album was recorded at various studios in England, including Air Studios in London and Abbey Road Studios. Elton John worked with producer Greg Penny on the album's production, aiming to capture a timeless and classic sound. Made in England features a diverse range of musical styles, including pop, rock, and ballads. The album's title, Made in England, reflects Elton John's pride in his British heritage and musical roots. Made in England produced several hit singles, including the title track Made in England, Believe, and Blessed. These songs received significant airplay on radio stations and helped reintroduce Elton John to a new generation of listeners. Made in England received generally positive reviews from critics upon its release. Critics praised the album for its strong songwriting, emotional depth, and John's powerful vocal performances. The album was seen as a return to form for Elton John and a reaffirmation of his status as one of the greatest pop musicians of his generation. Van Halen 3 is the 11th studio album by American rock band Van Halen, released in 1998. Van Halen 3 marked a significant departure for the band, as it was the first album without original lead vocalist David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar. Gary Cherone, formerly of the band Extreme, joined Van Halen as the new lead vocalist, replacing Hagar. The band worked with producer Mike Post, known for his work on television theme songs like Law and Order and New York Police Department Blue. Van Halen 3 features a departure from the band's traditional hard rock sound and incorporates more experimental and diverse musical elements. The album explores a range of styles, including alternative rock, pop, and even elements of jazz and funk. With Gary Cherone on board as the new lead vocalist, Van Halen 3 showcases his powerful and dynamic vocal range. Cherone's songwriting contributions also played a significant role in shaping the album's sound and direction. The album features 12 tracks, including singles like Without You and Fire in the Hole. Van Halen 3 received mixed reviews from critics upon its release and was not as commercially successful as some of the band's earlier albums. While it debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 chart, it quickly dropped off the charts and failed to achieve the same level of success as previous Van Halen albums. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Feel free to leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. Keep the music alive, and we'll see you in the next video.